Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
What sort of heinous things do we find when we dig too deep?
In our butts?
In our butts. Cosmic horrors of the butt.
Heinous. It's your anus is heinous.
Extra anus things.
You got a heinous anus. Anus. We're going to talk about Annihilation for the main attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, Kelley will review something called Moloch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie.
And
it is here. That. Hi.
We don't have our usual fun pun for Cosmic Horror Month, but what do you do?
We still got time. Month's not over yet.
Just call it Cosmic Schmozmic.
Sure, okay.
What that means? That sounds like we're dismissing Cosmic.
Schmozmic.
You could do a B-52s thing and call it Cosmic Horror Thing.
Yeah, there's that.
I like it. Andy came up with the theme idea because, you know, we've all been drooling over these web.
Yeah.
Space.
They slid into our DMs with those pics.
Yeah. Sexy universe pics.
The web
They're
telescope.
so pretty.
Yeah.
I love those.
And it's like, what if there were something horrific? Like, have we seen new pictures in a while?
I think they cover them up because
they
they're too
found
horrific.
something.
It's like
out
Martyrs. The answer is too horrible to
They just whisper in their ear. They're
Yeah.
like, it's a lot of bright colors and stuff.
Then, bam!
Life is meaningless.
Yeah.
What was it? What's the quote from Lovecraft? I think it's from Lovecraft where they say, man shone a light so bright that he drove himself mad or something like that. And I think about that with Cosmic Horror every time. That's like the quote. I know I'm misquoting it probably. But I love the idea of us exploring too far.
Yeah, it's like the Crystal Skull. Remember, Cate Blanchett got too much knowledge and she went crazy.
Yeah, it's just like the Crystal Skull, the ultimate cosmic horror film.
To Kelley, at least, because I like it.
I like it. I just don't. I don't love it.
Jinx.
I like it.
I really hate it, but I really don't like it. But it's okay.
Well, I'm glad you acknowledge
you do.
Kelley, you acknowledge its existence, unlike some other movies.
Well, remember that scene?
It is a movie.
Everyone bitches about the refrigerator on the nuclear test site scene, but we just saw the movie Mosquito because Dave Scarecrow Oven was talking about it in our group chat text. And have you seen Mosquito from 1989 starring Gunnar Hansen? And a lot of mosquitoes, but they're giant mosquitoes?
No.
The reason I bring it up is they resolve things, spoiler alert, by blowing up the house. But the guy who blows up the house survives because he gets in the old refrigerator. They dig him out of the debris. It was a pretty great moment.
Is it a nuclear bomb?
No, they just blow it up in a traditional sense.
I got you.
See, they're sending me mixed signals because in the 80s, we were taught never to go in refrigerators.
Yeah.
Because we would get trapped and suffocate.
Yeah, like
only if you're a kid.
Yeah.
Only if you're a little kid. Adults were allowed to get in refrigerators as much as they wanted. I was so jealous of their ability.
Did you want to get in refrigerators?
Well, because I was told not to, yeah. So
then you kind of want to.
I just envied adults' ability and right to get in and out of refrigerators with impunity.
I think my deep...
You got frigiliges.
Claustrophobia, like really...
Zawo, Freddy. Sorry.
Made me go a different direction, Kelley.
You never wanted to get into it.
It was so horrifying to me anyway. And then that Punky Brewster episode really
Cherry almost died.
underlined that shit. Oh no,
And
thank
also,
you.
like, when have you ever encountered just abandoned refrigerator? I never did.
I've seen them out for the garbage men.
Yeah, I've never played at the dump.
No.
If that's what you're asking.
No,
No,
But
I
they made it
haven't.
seem in the 80s. They made it seem like a huge deal. That they
Well,
were just
you're gonna get trapped in one that was also
Yeah.
sinking in quicksand.
that was there
That
were
was mostly
fields.
for dumpster kids.
and they would take
like
us to
dump
another,
kids.
and they would
You know.
take us to another location too.
the '80s version of the boxcar children. The dumpster
It was for
kids.
your. It was for your Stand By Me's and your Punky Brewsters and your
Punky Brewster.
your Stephen King's It characters.
your kid's
Basically, if you're a
adventure.
Stephen King character.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was like an industry, big refrigerator, and they're like, we make these deadly boxes that lock behind children, but it's on you kids to not get inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Big Refrigerator was like, here, Punky Brewster, you want Big Refrigerator money? Tell Cherry not to get in the refrigerator.
How is it that
Then we don't have to.
I gotta tell you,
change
I'm
the
glad.
design.
I'm glad that I was held a little bit accountable for something
Yeah.
for my own safety to a degree as a kid.
Well, yeah.
probably as like little as 100 years ago, kids were just like working, like they were working.
For the weekend.
Yeah.
And they were trusted not to get themselves trapped inside of
They probably
refrigerators.
made the refrigerators
They
that it would eventually die in.
Your
They lived in a
5-year-old
refrigerator. It was
Yes.
just a slow
Those
death.
kids with all the soot on their face and their little hats.
And nowadays we're like, don't let the children know anything. Don't teach them anything.
Yeah.
Keep them away from things. They were working for the weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Anyway.
the whole concept of childhood is BS, man.
No, we're getting it mostly right now.
No, I think
what-
the old ways were better.
Can you explain Can you explain that statement, Freddie? The concept of childhood is BS.
Oh, no, what I'm saying is it's all made up anyway.
Oh, so people are just people regardless of their age.
Well, it used to be.
It did used to be
There
that
was
actually.
there was
yeah.
a clean break between child and adulthood. And what I'm talking about is that area in between is bullshit. Like,
And in fact, you finished that what you were saying.
no, that was it. I mean, it's just made up shit.
That's
Even
not-
before that, Alise made a good point that the concept of childhood wasn't even really a thing before, a couple hundred years ago or a few hundred years ago, really.
Yeah.
Like childhood wasn't even a thing.
No.
You were bored and you started living because you had to die soon.
You had to
They
get
got busy living?
Yeah.
Because you were already busy dying, whether you wanted to be or not.
I mean, you think about it, man. As the minute you were strong enough to pick up a tool,
well, that's why
you
they
were
had.
working.
That's why they had kids.
Yeah,
In the
later.
first
Yeah.
place.
Well, you think about it.
Is that why it's called labor?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To go
'Cause
into
it's
labor?
work.
No, to make the labor.
It sounded like Kelley was confirming in a really weird way because he was yelling at he was like, yeah, that's why they call it labor.
Yep.
Sorry, one of my children
yeah.
poked their head up the stairs and I think asked if I was doing the podcast.
You tell
I have
him to get his
headphones
ass
on.
back to work.
Yeah.
In the refrigerator mines.
I told him there was no such thing as a child and that
Those Nikes aren't going to make themselves cold.
Whew, there's
Amy,
a lot of
you were gonna say
hilarity and
something before I
sadness
interrupted
here.
you? Or did you forget already?
I don't remember.
No.
What?
So anyway, sucks to be
Anyway.
a kid.
But
Yeah,
now,
right.
freezers are on the bottom of the refrigerators now. The drawers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I've never had one of those. I mean, I know what they are. I'm aware of them.
Yeah.
Did you ever know anybody with one of those big like freezers in like their basement or garage? You know,
Rich
the one
kids.
that you could put a body in and then you
Yeah.
look at it.
We had
Yeah,
one. My mom had the one. Actually, she had it for like 40 years. The thing lasted, and it was like a
Wow.
refrigerator-sized freezer.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were rich.
But like
What's she keep in
now
it?
you know
because of pop culture and the news,
bodies.
all you think about is there's bodies in it.
No,
So
they're
when
just
I had
all-
friends,
yeah.
No, but there's bodies, but they're hidden underneath,
Underneath.
some ice cream and
Yeah,
some steak.
some banquet.
steak, yeah.
We had cow bodies and a lot of chicken bodies in there.
It's funny that you were thinking, Amy, like that there was a body in there.
Well, I was a morbid child.
And I mean, like, I got there.
I still feel that way. If I go to your house and like I happen to see one of those big
Yeah.
freezers in your house, I'm gonna be like, all right.
See, I think the good ice
I
cream's
know,
in there.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The good ice cream's in there. The stuff they're
Or-
hiding from the rest of the family.
Or it just implies something weird, like you have to keep a whole deer carcass in there,
Pot pies.
and it's weird.
Just hundreds of
I'm
them.
judging you. That's what I'm saying.
Freddie, did you think the rich kids had it because they stored extra food there and
They
extra
were
food
rich
means
because they had
rich?
extra
Yeah.
food. Yeah.
Well, that's where you keep meat.
Yeah.
You buy a bunch of meat.
You know, all my hunter neighbors had freezers to keep all the deer
Yeah.
meat in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the wives of their body.
The
The
wives
wives
of
of
the
their bodies.
bodies of their wives.
That was the most profound thing. That sounds like something from the Bible.
God, I'm stupid.
You're brilliant.
But you guys knew what I was going to say.
Thou shalt be twain from the wives of his bodies. Bring unto him bread and make it bricks.
Oh, now I want a steak now. Like,
Yeah.
Got to pull it from the freezer.
Just a
I think that's what I'm having
solid
for dinner.
frozen steak.
I watched this hot mess of a movie with Nicolas Cage today called Prisoners of the Ghostland. Have you heard of this? It's on Shudder. It's original.
Is this one of those movies that he's just churning out?
Well, no. I mean, it was crafted. It was carefully crafted by the filmmaker, and the guy who made it is this Japanese director who is in trouble right now for sexual harassment.
No.
But it's this. It's a fucking post-apocalyptic Western, and it's kind of like Mad Max.
Isn't that what Mandy was?
Mandy was not. Well, yeah, I guess you could kind of make that a Western in a way, but this is like really. People
This
are
is like a straight up Western.
It feels like a straight up Western, and it has Bill Moseley playing a character called the Governor, who is like he's channeling Dennis Hopper, in especially like Texas Chainsaw 2 or something that kind of. So it has things. There's things to like there, but it was a real mess. Like it was a real mess.
It was a mess, I think.
Yeah.
They made Nicolas Cage wear this suit that if he didn't get whatever her name is, Bustelo, whatever. Who was the one who was in The Mummy? The Tom Cruise Mummy. She played the Mummy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
in the movie
That
The
lady.
Mummy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That lady's in it, and Nick Cage has to go rescue her from I can't even remember who, but he has to wear this suit, so it kind of has this Escape from New York vibe to it too. He has to wear this suit where there's these little explosives in it, and like as he gets to certain points in the time trying to get her back, like one of them will explode and it blows his testicle off. And like it's that kind of movie. It's just very Hell Comes to Frogtown, but a little more stylized and taken a little more seriously than that. It's a bizarre movie. It's a blend of like samurai movie and Western too on top of that, plus sci-fi. I got it all.
Our boy Cage is in too many movies lately.
It's a grab bag.
That's what happens when you spend your money on dinosaur bones.
I admire what he's doing, honestly.
If you
I'm
had
into
fucking
it.
money, would you own a
I'm a
dinosaur
fan.
bone?
At a bone, not a whole skeleton.
I'd buy
Maybe a
dinosaur.
skull or something.
Yeah.
One of those little ones.
The world needs bizarre movies.
Yeah.
And bizarre people like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, and strange people. These are important things for our souls.
Yeah. we need cautionary tales.
I mean, the movies themselves, they kind of they chisel away that reflex and that programming to kind of just expect things, you know? And you're like, maybe this is rubbing me the wrong way because it is different. And then after a while, you're like, I kind of like it. I kind of like having that barrier broken.
It's a different kind of rub.
Yeah, it's a different kind of rub.
Is it dry or?
It's when you learn how to love olives.
Good rub and bad rub went home for the day. A different kind of rub.
I might get some wings later with the dry rub,
Yeah, those are good.
lemon pepper.
Yeah. The other night we watched The Black Phone.
Oh, that was real good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I'm a big I'm finding that I'm a big is it Scott Derrickson, is that the director?
I believe so.
He did Sinister, which I love, but I didn't know until we watched The Black Phone. He also directed one of the Hellraiser movies.
Which one?
The one that was kind of like the detective movie.
Oh, the fifth one? That
Yeah, the fifth one.
was okay.
I didn't really
I
didn't give it its due
It's
because
not great.
I was just
by
like
any stretch of the imagination.
yeah, by the time you got to that one when you were like marathoning them and I hadn't seen any past Bloodline, the one in outer space.
The one with Adam Scott.
When you got to that one, I was just kind of like, what the fuck are they doing? Like
they were just doing whatever. But
Yeah.
clearly this guy has some chops, so
I feel like I want to go back and watch it. I think that
have fun with that.
with fresh eyes, it might be a good movie.
Once I got done with all the Hellraiser movies, I was like, nah.
Never again.
The first one, sure. Second one, maybe.
Oh, the second one's great. And the third one's pretty good. The second one is great, though.
I like the second one.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen the
I like
one.
this.
I like
do too.
I like it better than the first, actually.
Yeah, it's
I
more
haven't
entertaining.
seen the one they did not that long ago.
Oh, with the new guy? Oh, they done two now with a
I think
with
they
a
did
different
two.
actor, right?
Holy
Oh, the
fuck
new guy.
balls. The new guy, you guys.
Here come the new guy.
But I will say the Black Phone I thought was really, really good. Very solid.
Oh, Ethan Hawke is a scary dude. He's such like, I think he might be the best living actor. I'm not joking. I am totally serious. I think Ethan Hawke might be the best living, as far as traditional elevated acting, not mumblecore realistic acting.
Right.
I mean, in the traditional sense of like Hollywood style
He
performance.
is great in this movie. He is terrifying even with dad bod.
Yeah, it was really fucking good.
So anyway, I just wanted
Alise
to
said hi, by the way.
Tell
Hi,
Elise,
Elise.
Ethan Hawke, best living actor. And see,
She doesn't
agree?
care.
Freddie wants to. He says Ethan Hawke, best living actor.
That's
She
what
made
I
a face.
said. She made the face I made. Like, what? But, we were just taken off guard. We just need some time to sit with it. It's fine.
So
I had to know. I'm in love with him.
Okay.
I'm in love
Yeah.
with him.
He was very bad in this movie.
He's a bad man. But
is that a spoiler?
No, I think you know that from the poster.
it's in the trailer and everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, yeah, we've seen some in The Mosquito, which is a movie.
How was it? I mean, besides being stupid.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Like
Totally stupid.
Okay, well, here's a question.
No, it's bad.
For like a giant
fun.
creature movie, how does a creature look?
Terrible. It's awful.
Oh, well, there's good moments.
No,
the mosquitoes.
bad.
Most of it though, when they show the mosquitoes, it's very Birdemic. They'll show a mosquito and it doesn't have like great articulation. It's just this solid statue that gets pushed through a scene.
So it's just moving across the screen,
But
like,
then
like
they-
the Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, but then they do some stuff. You can tell
Oh,
that they had
honey,
different
you're so
resources at different points, maybe. Then they do some stuff where the mosquito, when it whips around the corner flying, its tail does like tailgate, so it has more of a physics thing.
Okay,
there.
another question. When they attack people, do they suck the people dry? And
Yeah.
and you see the body like compress?
Yes, exactly. And their eyes pop out.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea.
It's really fun.
No, there's definitely some fun to be had.
And Gunnar Hansen gets to be sexy. He lets his hair down, and like he gets a glamour shot. And
Yeah.
and there's a great little nod to TCM in there that's hilariously egregious.
Turner classic movies.
Have you guys seen Ticks?
Have I
The
seen
Alfonso
Ticks?
Ribeiro movie?
When I was
What?
a kid,
Is it better than Ticks?
Oh
Mosquitoes
my God,
are-
Freddie! What? I
no,
didn't know
it's
this
not better than
existed.
Ticks.
Of all the blood-sucking
No, I
insect
need
movies
Ticks.
are out there, which one's the best?
I need to see Ticks.
There's a movie called Fleas.
Probably
Probably.
Giant fleas.
crabs.
There is worms
Yeah.
There is.
or squirm. There's squirm,
Oh,
Squirm.
but I think there is also worms. But there's definitely squirm.
Yeah, there are definitely
And
worms.
there's bug.
all of these things are true. Oh, thank you, Andy, for getting me a refill.
And then
You're
there's
the
that
sweetest.
character Cockroach from Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, that's a bug.
Ah,
So where does that
explains
leave
everything.
I don't know where that
us?
leaves us.
That brings us. It just asks more questions than it answers.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/NOTLP. We just released Topicana because I forgot to post it when we recorded it
On Friday.
on Friday.
Now it's Monday.
It's Monday, so Topicana is out there, and it was Kelly's topic, and he was asking us about like things we've changed in our opinion on, like how hard. You said real hard, right?
Fully erect.
Yeah.
Opinion.
So if you want to hear
Opinions
what
that
we were
have
so hard
since
about,
gone soft.
Yes.
Are now flaccid opinions.
That have actually gone inwards upon themselves.
Yeah.
They're
It
innies.
turtled.
and Origins will be out Wednesday ish. Because we had to delay that too for a reason.
Because I forgot. Just say it. I forgot.
Andy
want-
forgot.
Andy
I love shaming Andy. Andy forgot.
Andy got trapped in a refrigerator.
He was trapped
and
for days.
I didn't want to say it and bring it up and embarrass him.
So that goes against Kelly's idea that adults can get out of refrigerators.
Yeah.
See?
But I have a child's
Well,
body, so,
It wasn't my idea. That's society's idea.
so am I not an
Sad
adult
man.
then?
Well, Can you still buy stuff with clothes in the kids section?
Not according to society, I
Is
guess.
that what they do at bar mitzvahs?
Yes.
They put a
refrigerator?
a child in the refrigerator. If you can get out, you're an adult.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Society.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, remember that Brian used the movie Society? Where
How could I forget?
This was a great movie. I just read this comic book, if you like Society, called Eat the Rich.
I'd like to do that.
It is so good. It's on Hoopla. So if you have that Hoopla digital app, you can get it from your library. But it was like a really one of the better horror comics I've read in the past 5 or 10 years, maybe even. It's really good.
It's a big chunk of time.
I liked it a lot.
This is a good thing.
Yeah. I read a lot of horror comics. I'm a creep.
No, you're not.
I'm a creep. I'm a crusty critter.
So yeah, Origins Topicana, all at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Yeah, you ready to move on to that roulette wheel in the sky?
Well, Kelley needs to be ready.
I'm ready.
He's just staring off. I think he's getting a little peep show.
Yeah, I for sure am.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
They say he died of hypothermia.
Dead?
Are you guys digging for treasure?
Something like that. That is incredible.
What was it?
A very old woman. Hundreds of years. Throat has been cut.
Just like the others.
There are more. What's going on?
Family curse. It's a stupid story to scare kids away from the bog.
Do you? Take it seriously.
No.
Do you think it's still happening? Sacrificing people to this god. Moloch.
Grandmother was murdered.
We are a very sensitive family.
They're making me do it.
With these things, sometimes it's best to just leave it be.
You're making me do it. That part of the trailer, everybody in the room started laughing.
It was just because I can't see it, so it was just a shock.
Yeah, what they make him do?
To do it.
What a long
Nothing.
trailer, huh?
They didn't make him do
Yeah,
nothing.
it was a lot of scary noises.
So, Moloch, or Moloch, as they say in the movie. This movie is languaged in both Dutch and English.
Languaged.
They bounce back and forth. So have your subtitles on if you don't speak both Dutch and English. Or if you only speak one of those, you are going to want to have it on. So I initially went with this movie for a little while. It takes place in, Scandinavia.
You looking at us for confirmation?
Sure.
And
Well,
anyway,
if it's Dutch, would it not take place in?
Netherlands? Is that where Dutch is?
That's where Dutch is. Who the fuck is Dutch?
Well, we'll say yes.
What?
Anyway, so
the Netherlands. This was filmed in the Netherlands.
That's exactly what I was going to say before you said it.
Europe.
Yeah, I think the Netherlands. All of Scandinavia is part of Europe, isn't it?
No, but Netherlands aren't part of Scandinavia, are they? Oh, boysies.
I think they are. I've always thought the Netherlands were a Scandinavian country.
Okay, just keep talking.
But it doesn't matter. So, I mean, it does matter to someone. But I mean, in this conversation, it doesn't matter. We can suss it out later for political reasons. But
it's located in northwestern Europe.
But what is Scandinavia?
That's Sweden, Norway, and Finland. And Greenland, I guess, or
but
Iceland.
not the Netherlands?
No.
Are you sure about that?
That's what it says right here on Wikipedia. It borders Germany and Belgium.
We've all learned something today.
Did you Google is the Netherlands Scandinavian?
I mean, I can, but I don't want to.
She doesn't want to be wrong.
Do you ever think about how it's called the Netherlands and it's like my nethers?
Yeah.
It's because it looks like a big PP.
What region of the Nethers are you from?
With the hanging testicles in a vagina.
So these folks that are speaking Dutch primarily, they spooky things are happening to and around them. There's a lady and a mom and a daughter and an old man. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of shadows and little sounds and thumps.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
There's
I wanted lady thumps.
I went with this for a while. And listen, it's not a not recommend. I think some people might like this. This movie builds a lot of atmosphere. It does a lot of things that you're like, yeah, I like when movies do that. It's extremely, like, really, when you get down to it, I feel like it's very derivative of some recent things. I feel like it uses some tropes that have been used in some recent movies. I was hoping that the little breadcrumbs they were leaving was leading to a more interesting trope. Not that this trope can't be interesting, but I just felt like it was sort of, I don't feel like they gave it enough meat. Like I felt like it was like they could have built this, what was happening, into an interesting thing, I felt like. But once I kind of realized what the whole ba with the ba was,
well, Kelley, is it?
I didn't want to bang diggy diggy anymore. I was just done.
He was nah with the ba.
That's right. I was nah with the ba, nah with the nah, and so I mean, there are interesting things that the performances.
This is the vaguest review I ever heard. There's things.
It's a vague movie.
And there's tropes.
Thumpy. I understand what you mean.
Is it a spoiler to say what the trope is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Moloch, I always think of as the demon. Is that not true?
No, it is.
So is there religion in this movie? Is they got to bring a fucking reverend out?
Okay, can you say what movies?
No priesty things.
Can you say what
I will
movies
spoil it.
It'll spoil it.
All right.
But you've seen it. We've talked about these movies recently.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good to me. Okay. Like the trailer looked good.
No, and I'm suggest it's a very slow burn. It's also like I started to fall asleep a little bit, and I like a slow burn. I didn't fall asleep, but I started. I could. My eyes got droopy, which for me is like it's not hard for me to pay attention to a movie. So like, it was boring a little bit for me. For me, dog. You might like it. It is definitely, the atmosphere is good. The cinematography very good. There are things, like I said, there are spooky things happening. There's some tension here and there that I found. Maybe you'll find more tension, but it didn't work for me really ultimately. And it kind of like, once I kind of got an idea where it was really headed. What?
I had this weird imagination, like if there was some sort of mistake on the internet and like your review of this movie was posted on Yelp as a review of a Denny's. And I just started giggling, thinking about somebody looking at the Denny's reviews, and they're like, "It's like some spooky things happened. I don't know if it was enough to keep me awake, but you know what I mean." Like, and then I don't know where I'm at.
Why would anybody look at Yelp reviews of a Denny's?
You know what you're getting at Denny's.
Like, that is like looking at a Yelp review for a fucking Taco Bell. It's a Taco Bell.
You're doing it to see if there are different. You want to see what it's more about the people than the Denny's. More about the reviewers.
I found this whole saga of Yelp reviews for restaurants written by this character. I think this guy I think it was a brilliant fiction.
Of course it was.
But it was when we were in the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area.
Yeah.
They had reviewed almost everything around there, and they had this saga between him and his wife and their marriage falling apart at all these different places. It was fucking brilliant.
Unless it was real.
Unless it was real. Then it was kind of tragic, but still even more amazing if it was true.
This isn't a bad movie, I don't think. Or like, I didn't think it was bad. I just, it just kind of left me a little bit like, meh. But definitely, I do feel like some people might enjoy it who, I feel like somebody might like this. So if you like a slow burn and you're like, I want to see what the mystery of the bogs, that's cool.
Hey,
there's like an archaeological dig. I can give you that. There's an archaeological dig going on in the bogs, and that's kind of cool. I like that aspect of it.
He likes bogs.
Yeah.
I like bogs. I like digs.
I like big bogs.
What about Wade Boggs?
I like Susu Studio.
Is he your favorite ball player, Wade Boggs?
Wade Boggs.
Ironically, he's not.
I will always see him with that giant mustache in my imagination. That push button.
Yeah.
Just to clarify again, I do not need to harp on this, but I'm going to. The Netherlands is not part of Scandinavia.
And that's fine. I didn't know, and I learned something today.
Because I thought it was too. So
I'm breaking the law. Remember Kelly's law from Topicana that people who correct people.
No, we asked for this. I asked you to Google this. I wanted to learn.
So I won't get thrown into jail.
No, and on this offense, this would probably be, just a fine, but no, you're clear.
Google. I made Google.
I made the Google sound. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Your words.
So
you're welcome.
Amy, do you want to describe the next one? And then I have the wheel here for when it's time to spin.
Yeah. Can you finger the wheel for me since I'm not there?
I will. I'll finger it good for you when the time comes.
So this movie said it was in theaters, and I was like, well, I can't pick it. And then I realized it's not in any theater in Cincinnati, so therefore this is not in theaters. And therefore...
Ooh, I love technicalities.
For the second time, eligible for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette. It's on Shudder. It's called The Reef, Stalked. From the director of the hugely successful The Reef and Blackwater Abyss... Does anybody know? In an effort to heal.
I know the Reef. I know the Reef. This is a sequel shark movie, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In an effort to heal after witnessing her sister's horrific murder, Nick travels to a tropical resort with her friends for a kayaking and diving adventure. Only hours into their expedition, the women are stalked and then attacked by a great white shark.
I'm going to make a prediction that he finds peace through dealing with the shark encounter. Or she does.
Yeah.
To survive, they will need to band together, and Nick will have to overcome her post-traumatic stress, face her fears, and slay the monster.
Slay.
Be a lot more.
Yes.
Be a lot more likely to be a tiger shark or a bull shark.
A what?
Exactly.
So Kelly told us recently about a shark attack show that's like kind of set up like a true crime show.
Did they interview the shark?
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah. It never says.
Only if they don't go to jail.
What's it called again? It's on Disney Plus.
When sharks attack.
Yeah.
You can tell which shark
Nat
did it,
Geo.
They're always wearing an orange jumpsuit.
It's Nat Geo on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Ooh,
part of Shark Fest.
Are there
There's a whole bunch of
recreations?
stuff.
I bet those are fun.
Yeah, they do recreations. And they're usually like just big bloody messes.
It's really good. I love it.
It's just a lot of splashing.
It's a lot of fun.
And red water.
I saw 2 orca kill a great white last night.
Damn.
On Reddit.
It sounds like a joke.
No, it was real. It was intense, man. They just they were like, they fucked his shit up instantly. Like they were on him, and the water was red, and I was like, oh, there it goes.
Oh, is this the one where the shark flies into the wall and you see just blood?
Flies into the wall?
No, like swims really fast into the wall.
What?
Wow, I haven't seen that.
There's multiple
I don't want to watch
dead
that.
shark videos apparently.
Wow.
No, thank you.
I saw.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, if you need shark content in your life, I go to Nat Geo, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is where it's all been.
Yeah, man.
It's a ton of shit. They really fucking beat Shark Week, because Shark Week has just evolved into just chaos
Gore.
and garbage.
Gore.
Like MTV. You ready?
All right, let's see who's gonna watch the next one.
Push it, touch it,
rub it down. Oh no!
Pop it.
Oh no!
It's Andy.
It's Andy.
I'm gonna watch a second-rate shark movie.
It might be great. The Reef.
Which was The Reef? Was that Blake Lively?
That's The Shallows. That was good.
That was really good.
Which one was The Reef?
That was good.
The other shark movie?
It's the one where the shark eats people.
You know that one.
You know that
think I
thing
remember
that
The
that
Reef.
thing that conservationists tell us isn't true.
I know I've seen it.
They're like this doesn't really happen, and then there's like the show. They're like, we don't know why this keeps happening. People get in the water with sharks, and then they get hurt.
Well, I will say this. Look, they always give you this statistic. Oh, you're much more likely to be, attacked by a moose in a state that moose don't even live in than be attacked by a shark. And it's like, well, sure, if I never go in the ocean, but tell me what my odds shoot up to the second I step into the water, and they're like, oh, I don't know, like 500 to 1. And that's not great odds. You know what I mean?
But then there'll be like they'll be like, okay, it's been 3 days and 3 people have been eaten, and we don't know if it's the same shark. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather it be just one.
I get scared out there, man. I stay out of their environment, except for when I break that rule and just do it anyway. But
you got to respect the water, man.
Yeah.
You've been 100% successful at not getting eaten.
I have been.
Respect the water. There's
shark waters a few times, and I don't know why I did it any of those times.
Safety is the myth. They're always like, we want to make sure it's safe to bathe. It is not safe to put your foot in the ocean at all. It's just not. It's just not safe. There's no safe way to do it.
And not just from fishes and things, also from dirty needles and such.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff. There's
sometimes at the same time.
Jellyfish.
A shark full of needles.
Like a shark full of needles, I'll be gone when the morning comes.
Like you open your mouth and it's nothing. Instead of teeth, is a bunch of needles.
Yeah, it's just
nothing but needles.
That old expression.
My worst restaurant on Corn Avenue. Nothing but needles.
What do you have here?
The Needle Company.
Do you have burgers? No, just needles.
Eatles of needles.
Needles.
Imagine going there and they ask you, "Do you know what you want?" And they say, "Like, I need a couple minutes," but like. Needles are the only thing on the menu. Why do you need a couple minutes?
Yeah, and you get upset because you're like, I want my needles. This person in front of me is trying to decide between 3 different kinds of needles that are all basically the same thing.
All right.
Okay.
That's enough of that.
You're enough of that. You're enough of that.
Can you describe its form?
No.
Start from the beginning.
What do you think I do when you're away? You think I'm out in the garden pining, looking up at the sky? Why aren't you here?
I gotta leave a day early.
Your husband's here.
Let me see him.
He's extremely ill.
You have to tell me where he was, what he was doing.
It was his decision to go in. It's something they termed the shimmer.
We've sent in drones and teams of people, but nothing comes back. But something has.
You're a biologist. You served in the military.
If I knew what happened, I could save his life.
The boundary's getting bigger. It's expanding. We're talking cities, states.
You need to know what's inside. So do I. It's beautiful. Check this out.
It's like they're stuck in a continuous mutation.
Anything interesting in there?
No.
Sharks have teeth like that. It's not possible. You can't crossbreed different species.
What is it?
The soldiers on the last expedition.
They went crazy, or something in here killed them. Something's come through the fence.
Through the fence?
We have to go back. I can't go back.
We can camp here tonight. It's destroying everything.
It's not destroying. It's making something new.
That score, oh damn, I love it. I love this movie.
I love it too.
I love the shit out of this movie. How about you, Andy?
I loved it. Yeah, it's my
Now I want to ask you something because you'd seen this before, right, Freddie?
I saw it on an airplane. So let me tell you, I'm glad I got to watch it a second time the way I should have seen it on a big screen with the surround sound and everything.
Because I remember you had said you did not think of it as an adaptation of Color Out of Space, but what do you see that more now?
I do. This time through, I do for sure. Yeah.
I feel like it's the best version of the Color Out of Space on film.
Yeah, I get that totally, man. I think the things that threw me is when I think of the Color Out of Space, the farm is always a big part of the imagery and the family and stuff. But like thematically, it's very much the color from outer space.
Okay, well, real quick for people like me who don't know, what is the Color Out of Space?
It's the story of this.
It's Lovecraft, right?
Yeah, it's a meteor lands on a family's farm, and this surveyor, right? Wasn't he a surveyor?
The surveyor is the one that keeps coming out and talking to him. Yeah,
yeah, it's him telling the story too. I believe he's the narrator, and it's this. It poisons the well water basically, and starts making everybody crumble and turn into like gray putty.
Before it does all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it does, it changes it before they crumble, which is, I think this movie handled this aspect of it really well, is it does change things because they talk about like the way the animals started to look different. Their tracks all started looking different because it poisons the ground also all around. And so the crops, they come in much bigger and like they look delicious. And then they all turn to this gray. Like the longer they hang around, they kind of just start to disintegrate. And that's kind of what then happens to this family. Spoiler alert, on the farm. And it also has these colors that are like not really like visible on a terrestrial spectrum that nobody's ever seen or perceived before. And I feel like actually this makes a nice counterpoint to the Richard Stanley direct Color Out of Space. I feel like they handle the same kind of stuff. I feel like this is like a more elegant version of that, but that's like a very visceral version.
Do you feel like this would just fit into that? Like, would this be elsewhere on the planet? A similar kind of event?
It could. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I definitely feel like it could be the same universe, although the direction isn't humongously different, but this one is definitely more pretty and a little artsier, and that one's
story is much more complex, I think, in Annihilation.
Agreed. Oh, very much agreed. And it isn't a direct, just so people also don't understand, it's not like a direct adaptation of the Color Out of Space,
like
but it's
inspired by,
very inspired by, with some similar, like some genuine elements from it, but reworked.
I love this character for Natalie Portman. I think she's like this time through especially really appreciated both her and Oscar Isaac's characters as this couple who he's been missing for a year because he went on this mission that was covert, so she doesn't even know what it was about. But these two characters, you get all these flashbacks throughout the movie. I really
Girl,
got
who
them.
in there? Who would cheat on Oscar Isaac, bitch?
It was complicated.
Well, the guy she cheated on was pretty hot too. So
I know, and he's lovely or whatever, but that's Oscar. Okay, I'm just really mad at her.
But he doesn't even have the beard, Amy.
So that
Sometimes he got a little near the end when he was crazy.
I do feel like that. Those touches of, I just love that I thought it was very romantic the way those characters, even though she cheated on him, but like it felt like they were somehow as people above that in a way where they always did their duty and did the right thing in every other scenario. They were very heroic. Both of them are super heroic characters.
Oh yeah. It also reminds me of another short sci-fi story that I read a long time ago, and I can't remember exactly what. And I know these are based on books, like a series of books. I think Annihilation is like a trilogy, a combination of a couple. But there was this story from the 60s or 70s that I read about there's like this military installation where they've discovered this house has just appeared in this clearing. It's basically like they're looking into another dimension and trying to figure out how to get into it. And I don't want to spoil that story because it's actually a great story, but I also can't remember the name of it.
So you can't spoil it.
Or who it was by. But suffice to say, they get through and something awful happens, and the realization is really cool, and it's different than this. But it reminds me a little bit of that too, and I wonder if the author of these had kind of read that as well.
Well, Yellow Brick Road was another, like, it was a movie. It was kind of like this movie without the money behind it. It had that same vibe. I mean, it didn't have all the same.
Is it a sci-fi movie, the Yellow Brick Road?
Yeah, it's a horror film.
So, we'll just try to synopsize this. This is a very...
And you've read the book.
Dense movie. Yeah. I just checked on my Goodreads, and I read this 3 years ago to the month. Well, I'm about a week off. Don't remember much, guys. I remember I didn't love it. Liked it. Didn't love it because I thought it was too dreamy.
It's Eric Newell's favorite novel.
It's also our friend Ben Buckingham from Australia.
Oh, it's his favorite too.
He loves it, and he has a tattoo dedicated to this series. So I think I warned him that
his butt cheeks, it's the pages from the book with the crack down the middle being the spine,
and his butt shimmers. Mm-hmm. It sparkles.
I love it, Ben.
So I gave Ben a warning, hopefully don't hold our opinions against us.
Well, now I want to go back and read the other two books because this movie and the book kind of leaves you going, I don't know what's going on at all. And that's never a fun feeling. And especially when you finish this book and you're like, well, God damn it, now I got to go through two more. And then you're just resentful.
How'd you feel about the end of the film? I felt was pretty succinct and made sense.
And it makes, like you said, describe it as dreamy. I felt it captured that essence of dreaminess and nightmarish pretty well. Because I don't, like I said, I've never read the book, but when you describe it as dreamy.
It felt like a non-judgmental version of Body Snatchers.
It's like a very alien that we're dealing with here.
Well, yeah, and I think that, and it's not even, I think that it did a really good job of making you understand how it is for them as their DNA changes and their minds everything starts to get loosey-goosey and gooey inside of them, and sort of their cohesion starts to come apart, and then their thoughts start to come apart as as that builds. I think they do a really good job of making you kind of understand what that's why it's so dreamy, as everything is changing. It's just a completely different set of perception and set of rules. I really thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's really a deep shit.
Natalie Portman is Lena, and her husband comes back out of the blue, but he's not well. He's not okay. And so
he's not.
They're going to take him to the hospital. They get waylaid by the government, the men in black, and women.
It is not the Men in Black you want to run into.
Yeah, they don't flash a light in front of your eyes and make you forget.
It's not Will Smith smiling at you.
It's more Jesse Ventura and Alex Trebek.
I thought that was a really effective scene. Like the idea that something is so horrifying that they discover that they can't let anybody know about, that they have to kidnap these people and take them to the secret location.
Yeah, well, I think
Area
that's
X.
probably the way it would be handled in real life, right?
Like your rights as a citizen of this country are null and void in that moment, and that's weird.
And it makes me wonder what they did with those EMT guys. Did they kill them or just let them go?
Oh, the paramedics.
Yeah. Because we never see what happens. We just see what happens to Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac. But
this movie knows exactly what to leave to your imagination.
Yeah. Maybe they sent him into the Shimmer. Yeah.
Could be anything.
She gets to Area X and gets the download from Jennifer Jason Leigh, who was wonderful.
She is so great at playing this ice cold character.
Yeah.
There's like no emotion in her voice at all. And when you find out why, they're like, all the character motivations and their choices of acting, I think, are very...
Because of the cancer, you mean? Like, is why she's like that?
No, just the fact that she's...
Well, she's a psychologist, and they're weird.
Yeah, and just the fact that she's like... Know that she's at the end of her life and she doesn't really might have much to live for.
Yeah.
And she's like just resigned to her
figuring out what this fucking thing is more of it's her whole motivation, apparently.
I feel like she took a lot of that from the Cronenberg, working with Cronenberg, I think shows in this movie and her performance a lot. I'm sorry, Kelley.
Well, oh no, you're good. I also think I got a hint of this, like, there is like this very cautious, like she's trying to keep herself. I think part of why she wanted to go was like, well, maybe there's something in here that will reverse what's happening to me. And so it was like keeping herself so detached kept her from getting her hopes up too much, or you know what I mean? But that there is this idea that maybe something in this world will undo the cancer and help her to not die.
Yeah.
She's leading an expedition in. Lena gets in on it, and it's her, Jennifer Jason Leigh. What was her name?
Tessa Thompson.
Or Michelle Rodriguez.
Gina Rodriguez.
I've got my Rodriguez mixed up.
You son of a bitch.
Is that racist?
Tessa Thompson and this other lady who's great. Those are the other two. I just happen to know their names.
Nice ladies.
She makes friends. She's like, hey, I want in on this because, frankly, her husband's the only one who's ever come back. They've sent other people in.
Were you talking about?
She doesn't tell them that, though, when they go in.
So nobody else knows but Jennifer Jason Leigh that she's the wife of the only person that's come back. So they head on in. And it is literally like the shimmering...
It's beautiful, but
rainbowy.
It is.
When you find out what's really going on, it's terrifying too.
It also kind of looks like a puddle of motor oil, like in your driveway when the sun hits it. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you see or like oil spill.
It's oily.
Yeah, it really looks like it. Like, I mean, it almost looks like they used that as a visual reference to make this effect.
It's really cool. And then I had to make jokes like, oh, that's where if your kids cross over that boundary, they'll be groomed in the gay lifestyle. That's
look at the rainbow.
The gay Bifrost.
Yeah, this is where all that happens. And it's creeping and growing larger and going to cover the whole country if we don't stop the gays from hurting our children.
It's those damn drag queens at the in the libraries.
It's all a metaphor for that.
But they go in and they immediately lose time.
So they go in and they come out like fabulous, like all made up. Yes, shimmer.
This is kind of a Blair Witchy moment.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
where they figure out the lost time thing and how by counting rations, and they also anticipated it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that they were like, well, we kind of knew this would happen.
They have no way of communicating because the shimmer prevents it. And so they're just kind of like making their way.
Well, like that line where they said they lost track of time, it makes you wonder, like, does the shimmer actually change time too, or just their perception of time?
I think it changes time. Yeah. Like, because they
both,
when she finds the moment when I can't remember the character's name.
Doesn't matter what was happening.
She's the checking the radios, and how she realizes, she pieces together that the same phenomena that's affecting DNA is affecting wavelengths too. So it's basically just, it's like taking what makes up our world and if it's drawn on an Etch-a-Sketch and just like shaking it and then like just redrawing,
remixing it. Yeah, exactly.
It's the remix
everything,
to
every aspect.
Remix.
Yeah. It's regodding the whole thing.
So they get attacked by this giant fucking gator, but this gator has shark teeth.
Yeah.
That
My
gator
worst
was
nightmare.
freaky as fuck.
It was awesome. I didn't know there were going to be monsters in this movie.
There was so much great creature design in this movie.
The fucking bear scene.
Yeah.
That was
Did
terrifying.
anybody else just like the whole time just go, I was just...
when it's screaming, help me, that gave...
that was crazy.
The one lady gets killed by a bear that like drags her off into the woods. And Natalie Portman's like, well, she's dead, and they move on. But later, the bear comes back. Well, no, first they hear the woman's voice going, help me from downstairs from this house.
Also very Blair Witchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're like, shit, she's alive. I saw her. She did not look good. But then you realize it's the bear, this hideous, deformed bear. But it only says help me. In her voice.
And the screams of her.
Like as a lure.
Yeah, her death
Like as a way to lure prey.
Yeah.
And there are animals that do this sort of thing. So it's like, it's also, I think it's a great moment because
like
this
a
sort of
raven.
thing happens in the animal kingdom, you know?
The mimicry.
Yeah, that's another scary part of this movie. Like, it's all based in actual science. So you think there's
based in the way that vampires are also based in science.
But like I'm saying, like you said, like there's creatures that mimic other creatures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like there's actual...
Because it's not an intelligence that's doing it, right? Or is...
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, it's like this
It's
cell
unclear.
that makes your
It's new
cells
Mother Nature taking over.
rainbowy. And then you have your Twilight Sparkle baseball.
Oh, Mother Nature taking over.
That's
Great
why it
song.
was stuck in my head.
Yes,
It was because I watched this movie
Yes,
and that
that's
song
why.
was stuck in my head ever since.
That fucking bear scene, though, I can't get over it. So cool. The scene, well, where the trees shape like humans because the trees have a certain kind of human cell gene that is the one that tells our body what shape to take, and so the trees have it now. So neat. It was neato, guys.
It's a very cool movie.
I love that. What do they call it? Hawk's DNA?
Something.
Yeah,
The idea that it's the program that's the shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really great.
So we get to they're really trying to get to the lighthouse because they think that's kind of the epicenter of things.
Oh, did we talk about where they found that base and the videos they found of the previous
talk about
soldiers? And it's Oscar Isaac and his crew.
Oh, yeah.
And they found out these videotapes that they recorded of them. And they were going crazy too. And they cut this guy's stomach open. And you see his intestines like writhing like a snake.
Do you think they were snake? They were snaking?
Like it was some snake DNA?
Is that what the kids are calling it now?
They're calling it when you cut your friend open?
Well, they kept saying all of them felt like their stuff was moving. I think it was just the cells moving and becoming something different, and maybe even becoming every cell becoming sentient. Who knows? But everyone felt like all of their stuff was like moving like and writhing. So I think that was just his inside.
Is this movie saying that all of my cells could spontaneously at the same time decide to become something else and not even the same thing that the other cell is? Oh, man.
That's kind of what cancer is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for making it not fun.
Yeah, sorry. But I love the payoff for this scene because when you're talking about these tapes, Andy, you don't know at the time you're watching the footage with the other characters for the first time that it is the swimming pool in that building. And when they find what happened to the guy who had the wormy stomach issue, he's turned into this like fucking plant. This reminded me of like a Rob Bottin type of effect or something, you know, or however he pronounces his name, Bottin. It was very much like a John Carpenter's The Thing moment.
It's also very Society too.
Or Society, yeah. Like how the rib cage and the torso are just kind of up they have grown up the side of the pool, but also they're blended together with all that plant material and stuff.
But it was also beautiful too. Look at.
Yeah, it really was.
And then there was the butthole at the lighthouse.
Yeah.
So
yeah, which I think is also was blown there because of that grenade, right? They blew a hole in the wall with the grenade, right?
A blown asshole. You blew the asshole out.
So, you know, one lady's dead. Then we lose somebody else. We lose everybody basically, except for Natalie Portman and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tessa Thompson, she kind of like willingly goes into let the shimmer take her. And I thought that was a beautiful moment, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot about this that it's not like a oh man, it's hard to say. There aren't sides. There aren't really a protagonist, antagonist. There's this grand mystery,
and you get everybody's motivations.
It's very Lovecrafty.
Yeah,
like this is such a great representation, I think, of what the idea behind the Lovecraft mythos is supposed to lead you down to. You know what I mean? I think this is like a really good. It really captures, I think, what the best of that could be, you know?
The immensity of the mystery and the alienness of it. And it's beautifully destroying everything, I think, is those things.
But remember, that was the whole argument at the end of the movie. It wasn't destroying everything.
Well, but it is. I mean, frankly, you are.
Well, it's destroying what we know, what we as human beings perceive as something. But that's what's...
It's turning us into something new. It's not destroying us.
Did I sign up for that?
Yeah. Do you ever think that could be like...
But that's the whole point of cosmic horror, is that we are so insignificant that we control nothing.
What we want means so little.
Kind of like the Eternal. We just watched the Eternals, and it covers a lot of these same themes, but not as subtly.
Not as well.
Yeah.
Well, so, I actually like that movie.
I liked it too. I didn't think it was bad. I don't think
it shouldn't have been a movie.
It's not as good as Annihilation.
It should have been a series.
Is what I'm saying. Like, I think Annihilation takes those ideas, and like the thing is, not only does it present those big ideas, but like it brings it back to being scary again when Van Tress, or the Jennifer Jason Leigh character, when they let you remember, you're kind of like, she starts feeding herself into this epicenter of this phenomena, but she has cancer and she's got it bad. And like that moment when you see the cells, I think the visuals in this movie are great. Like,
they are.
When you see those cells start getting those black spikes and stuff in them, and you realize, you're like, okay, this thing has been rebuilding everything living or dying that's come through it to this point, and now it has cancer in it, which is like the scariest thing to a human being, I think. And like, what is it going to do with it? Is it going to create a monster out of it, or is it going to kill it?
Right.
You know, like it kills everything else that he gets in.
So they get to the lighthouse, and this is where she finds another dead body and a camera, and the camera still works, which, come on.
I always said the same thing. I was like, how long that battery lasts?
Seriously. Because she doesn't like turn it on. She just like opens it. Anyway, it bothered me.
But it's a living Cronenbergian camcorder now.
Because the shimmer like fucks with time so much.
You're right.
That thing could have been there for like a day or months. Who knows?
Yeah, it could have changed the way the battery works.
So anyway, she sees the video as her husband. Basically,
you won't believe what he's doing.
Talking to somebody, like talking to the camera and talking to somebody behind the camera, and being very confused as to who he is and who is he really and what's going on and stuff. And I don't really remember. It doesn't matter, because it turns out that dead body and the guy on the camera is her husband, and he kills himself.
Yeah.
But the dude behind the camera is a double of him.
Yep.
And that's the one who
Which
came
they
home.
foreshadow in the movie too, when they talk about the duplicating of some of the life.
Yeah.
And this is where I was saying, like, this is like a non-judgmental Body Snatchers, because you don't really begrudge the aliens what they're doing or what it's doing.
It's not malevolent,
right? Yeah, I don't think it told him to do it.
I don't think he even knows what it's doing.
Right, but it is, the deepest part is it's clearly also reconstructing those parts of us that are supposedly intangible, the memory and the soul. And like at the end, it's very Blade Runner, where you don't, are you a replicant? That whole thing. And it's kind of like, when you hear them, like Donald Sutherland's running through the city in that 78 invasion of the body snatchers, and the ones who have already been snatched up are like, it's not that bad, dude. Stop overreacting. But then a dog comes out with a human face, and you're like, I'm out again.
So Lena, then she finds Ventress down in the thing, and then the giant eyeball finds her and talks to her. Is that what you guys got from that moment? It was a giant eyeball. Like a burning alien eyeball.
Is this when
you watching Lord of the Rings?
Is this when Jennifer Jason Leigh had those lights shooting out of her?
I think it was after.
No.
Remember? And it was talking to Natalie Portman. It was like, boo, 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 boo. And there was no words that anybody could understand. Do you guys remember this?
No, I don't. No. None of us remember it.
And then after that, the drop of blood came from her eye into the eye, and then her double was made.
Yeah.
You guys, you remember with the eye?
Yeah, the big eye. That
the scene that comes out of the one you're talking about, Amy, where they do that damn.
This whole sequence, this end sequence, I was like jaw to the floor. I was, let's face it, slightly stoned. But it was perfect.
I was hoping they'd do that thing where like you meet your double and you wave it.
Oh, weren't you relieved that they didn't do the cliche?
Like, in my silly mind, because and like one of them reaches out and touches the nose and like,
yeah. I love the way they handled that. It was more they were not reacting to what the other was doing, but just the environment was causing them to stumble in the same way. And was that real? Did they choreograph that with like two actors, or was that CGI?
Yeah, it was.
I don't know.
Mia Michaels from Sorry Taking a Dance, she choreographed it.
I do think actually that there were doubles there, or some like the person who was playing the duplicate, like this There's
an actor listed as the double.
Yeah, and I think they're ballet dancers. So like there's something very graceful about this thing.
But it's also robotic too.
Yeah, it
looks like.
What does it look like? I can't even describe it.
The day the Earth stood still, the alien that comes off the ship. I think they were kind of making a reference to that.
And it's learning her.
Klaatu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Klaatu.
Yeah.
Veranda. Not gonna work here anymore.
Veronica.
Nick 2.
Betty. And what I think is great is because this is a thing that happens on a lot of sci-fi, in a lot of sci-fi stories. You're like this idea, like we can't meet something we don't understand with violence. We shouldn't do that. Like we should learn and extend our hand and be the fucking Jean-Luc Picard. But like what Natalie Portman did and what I would do is try to start hitting it and kill it. Because what else would you do?
You love it when she takes that phosphorus grenade at the end and just sticks it in his hands. But then at the end, you realize the one that burned up was the original Natalie Portman. And that both Oscar Isaac and her are now these pod people dupes.
They're loose.
But you don't feel bad about it because they are still in there. It's not the kind of like mindless. It's like it almost feels like an eternal life kind of.
Well, that's what it is, I think. And like everything being connected. I think they had said it wasn't even just that the bear was mimicking that woman, but that like
she was in there.
She like part of her was now part of it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was like this whole everything is connected to everything.
Very Buddhist.
Well, it's like Natalie Portman even mentioned that there's a flaw in our DNA. Like aging is actually a flaw.
Yeah.
But this alien is making us eternal almost.
I love that conversation they have. I'm sorry. I just wanted the one that was actually in the trailer where Oscar Isaac's trying to be romantic and talks about seeing the same stars. He tries to pull like an American Tail on her, and she's like, "You think I just stand out in the yard and stare at the sky where you're going?"
Somewhere out there.
It was so endearing.
She's like, "I fucked this guy I work with."
and that they both were laughing about it. They worked as I think their chemistry was really good, and it made me really feel for those moments at the end of the movie a lot more than I would have otherwise.
I'm just like, what is the next one? Are they gonna?
I don't know. This was not a big success, so I don't know if they're gonna.
I'll just have to read it, doesn't it?
No.
You don't feel like
I need a lot more.
I like how it.
I want more, but I'm saying
I
that
like how it left it.
Right, exactly. Also, it's one movie, and it makes sense. It doesn't leave loose
And there's
ends.
there's no answers at all in the movie.
Right.
So it would have been cheap to give us a really solid answer.
Yeah, it's a lot like Blade Runner. This movie reminds me a lot of that, like the way it's structured and the theming, the way they handle the theming, and it's so subtle.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who is sorry, hold on. Who's in charge of like the look and feel of
Johnny Look and Feel?
Like who is ultimately I guess the director, but I mean like whose job description is make these
production designer?
Thank you.
And then the set decorator. I feel like they don't get enough credit.
They don't, because my God.
I mean, in the movie industry in general, like the stuff that some of those people do are the things you remember from the movies that you watch.
And does the production designer work with the visual effects artist?
Well, there's the whole.
I think they're a team. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you have like it has an org chart like everything else.
How do movies work?
Can somebody tell me?
And it's Alex Garland, right? He did Ex Machina, I think.
Oh, I love that movie too.
Isn't that him?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great sci-fi director.
He is. If anybody ever made if they made a Shadowrun movie, I would love him to do it.
Yeah, that would be great. And I actually think I like this better than Ex Machina, but I do like Ex Machina a lot too.
Yeah, now that I've seen this twice, originally I thought I liked Ex Machina more, but the second time watching this, I like this more. But who knows on the second viewing of Ex Machina what will happen?
Does everybody have their bingo cards out?
Then I'll be reformed again. Then I'll have some bear DNA.
But when does it stop?
That's the question. Like, we don't know.
It just keeps changing and mixing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That's the thing. You got to let go of all your human preconceptions.
But also,
Amy.
why does it?
There's no final form.
Why don't we get a say in it? Why don't we sit down and discuss?
Because we're insignificant.
Because we're insignificant.
Yeah, that's how vast
nothing.
the universe is.
I don't want.
Very Borg.
I don't want it.
They get assimilated.
Yeah.
You should be honored to be part of it.
But you're still a part of it. You're still you. That's the thing. That's the hopeful
I'm
part.
Still me.
And you still get your body back. See, like at the end of the movie.
Well, maybe right now they're still getting their normal bodies, but as it takes on more, they probably will. People would probably continue to change and become other things.
Yeah, because if those are the duplicate ones they were talking about, or redundancies, whatever they called them, like, does that mean that this version of them is the one that is compatible? It made a compatible vessel for what was happening. But like, because their personalities, they don't know, they're not connected in the respect that they really know what's going on. Because both of them have to.
You sound insane.
I know. Well, the movie's insane, but at the end, like
are we in the shimmer right now?
Honestly, I think
they don't know if they are really the people they are or not. Is the thing that makes me think there's still even a dissonance there. They may be part of this grand thing, but at the same time, it's still this mystery.
Yeah, it's like how they're saying, we're all made of stardust. We're all made of the stuff from that hit the planet billions of years ago, and we're going to live forever in a way too.
Well, and that's the thing too, is I think that these forms are temporary. I don't think they have very long before, as the shimmer continues to expand. Like I said, I think that. And it was only supposed to take a couple of months before it expanded even to where they already were and into like heavily populated areas. So I think those duplicates that came out, they would probably continue to divide and duplicate into ever-changing forms. And then I think once the shimmer grabbed that world, I think it would just entirely change all the forms as it went and everything and what everything is and becomes and
we do sound crazy when we talk about this movie.
Well, we didn't make it.
I like it. I like talking about
it fits it fits the movie because everybody was crazy in this movie too.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to do one of my favorites next week for this cosmic horror stuff, which Amy's never seen. From Beyond.
I've never seen it either.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't. Neither have I.
That makes me even happier.
He's so happy.
You're going to love it, I think.
From Beyond.
From Beyond.
From Beyond.
From Behind.
I hope that's the
From Behind.
Is it Bed Bath and Beyond?
So this is a Stuart Gordon movie.
You got great return policy there.
Yeah.
This one's from '86, Stuart Gordon, and I think that you're gonna enjoy it. It's Barbara Crampton, Jeffrey Combs.
You're gonna like the way you look.
Ken Ford.
Barbie Cramps, like Kelley likes to call her.
Barbie Cramps, my girl.
Again, very similar themes to this movie, but done in a much more silly way.
Well, thank
Excited.
you so much. The end of every show, we always say hi to our Beelzebubs. Are you ready for that?
I am.
Yeah.
And done. He said hi. We're done. I'm gonna start from the bottom.
Now you're here.
Monica.
Hey, Monica.
Hey, girl.
Michael Burns.
Hello.
Dave Siebert.
I'm in a closet.
Ernie.
Oh my God, a handgun.
Jeremy and Cassie.
We were in the music league and somebody picked the Weird Al parody of that, Stuck in the Drive-Thru.
The good version.
It's so great.
Paul,
I hope to see you at a meetup soon.
Jordache Jeans.
Same with all of you, really.
Blayne Yogurt.
I like fruit on the bottom.
Mark Watts.
Blayne.
Mm-hmm.
Blayne on the bottom. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark.
We got Blake.
What's up, Blake? I'm going to cook some meat.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Bill Farner.
Hello, little Billy.
We've got Jerk Bitch Boat.
Jerk Bitch Boat.
He knows who he
hi, live and breathe.
Dr. Brian.
Dr. Brian, attorney at law, squiggle.
Iona Goodwin.
Iona Great. Dane.
Dustin. Hayes.
Dust.
Jeffel.
Dust up. Dust up with Jeffel.
Branan and Emily.
Hey, you're listening to Branan and Emily in the morning.
Alyssa.
Alyssa. Boom.
Lynn Walsh.
Lynn Walsh.
I come from a Lynn down under.
And last but certainly not least. Alise.
Alise?
Who I believe is making keto peanut butter cookies.
I saw her come up and let you lick the mixer thingies. And I was like, I'm jelly
didn't get to see me cunningate the mixing beater.
Licked your wife's beater.
Yeah. But yeah. We done it. We done did it.
Kids. I love you all.
Yeah.
And as I do to you, love you. Also.
And as I to you.
All right, bye.
Marriage, goodbye.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on